All right, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, live from the upper room. Sorry for the late start. My Wi-Fi here at the house has been absolute booty. So hopefully this goes by without a hitch. We're going to be covering the next part of Exodus. We're covering Exodus chapter 27, 27:20 to 30:10 today. And we're still on the building of the tabernacle, to the best of my recollection. So 27:20. And I think we're going to do what we did last time, because I really liked how that came about. Where we're going to read from the Hebrews for Christians part first, just to get an overview before we actually read it. And I also want to start the reading sessions from now on with a blessing that the Hebrews would do before their Torah reading. And I just find it to be expedient, and God's put it on my heart to do it. So without further ado, the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baharbanu mikol hahamim v'netan lanu et Toratot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu noten ha-Torah, which means, blessed are you, Adonai our God, King of the universe, who has chosen us from among all the peoples and given us the Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives the Torah. I think it's very pretty, that opening blessing. And it's expedient to do mitzvot. Even if it's not meant for our salvation, it's still an expedient thing to do. So let's get started on the pre-show, I guess you could say. This particular Torah portion is called the Tetzaveh. I think that's how you say it. Tetzaveh. And to read from, we have Exodus 27:20 through 30, 10, Ezekiel 43:10 through 27, and Hebrews 13:10 through 17. Tetzaveh is the second person imperfection of tetzvah, meaning to command, or mitzvah. And this reading begins with God telling Moses to command the children of Israel to provide pure olive oil to feed the everlasting flame of the menorah. The priestly garments worn by the kohanim, or the priests, while serving in the sanctuary are also described in this Torah portion. According to Jewish tradition, only the first few drops of the shemen, or oil, pressed from an olive, a zayit, were to be used for the menorah, since these were considered the first fruits of the olives and also the brightest of the oils. The menorah, which was the beautiful candelabra that I showed you in the last show, they actually have a recreation of what the temple menorah would look like, and I think wholeheartedly that that's going to be the menorah that's going to be put into the temple once the second temple is fully rebuilt. The menorah was lit every afternoon. It would burn throughout the night. Every morning, the Kohen, or the priest, would enter the Kodesh section of the Mishkan to empty the ashes from the lamps and insert new wicks. However, a midrash says that the westernmost light, the Ner Ma'arivi, I think is the proper pronunciation, would remain burning, which was then used to light the other 6 lamps, similar to the way the shamas candle is used to light the other candles at Hanukkah, which would be the middle candle. And during Hanukkah, you would light the middle candle first and then use that middle candle to light however many candles that you're supposed to light for that particular night. Only after the other lamps were lit would he blow out the Ner Ma'arivi, clear its ashes, and rekindle it. Only descendants of Aaron were allowed to wear the priestly garments. A Levite or a regular Israelite could not do so. And only while performing the avodah, or the service, in the Mishkan. A regular priest, a Kohen Hediot, had 4 required garments, whereas the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, had 8. All Kohamim, or regular priests, wore the kenot, ken, kenot, kenotnet, a full-length tunic or lawn shirt, the mechaneshim, short pants, the migba'adat, which is a band of white linen around wound into a pointed turban, and the avnet, a very long sash that would wound around the waist. The avnet was over 40 feet in length. In addition to these, the Kohen Gadol wore the ephod, an apron-like garment tied in the front made of blue, purple, and red dyed wool, linen, and gold thread, a koshen, which is a breastplate with a pouch that contained the 12 precious stones inscribed with the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, a meli, a robe of blue wool with gold bells and decorative pomegranates on its hem, the tzitzit zava, or the gold headband with the inscription Kodesh al Adonai, which means holy to the Lord. Notice that neither the regular Kohamim nor the Kohen Gadol wore shoes or slippers. In other words, they served in the Mishkan barefoot. And that's interesting considering if you were to talk about a church or a holy place today, you would always think that there would be shoes. But given the parts of the Torah we've already read, it's actually considered the right thing to do to have your shoes off when you're in a holy place. So if you are at a church or at a particular place where a Torah portion is being read, it does actually seem the more appropriate thing to be barefoot because you're on holy or set aside ground. And the reason why you don't wear shoes is so that you're better connected with the ground. Whereas we're always trying to, in the human sense, separate ourselves from that which is holy, God is inviting us to partake and be a part of and to be intimately connected with what is holy. Therefore, no shoes. According to Jewish tradition, the bells were worn on the high priest's coat in order to scare off any holy angels that were serving in the Kodesh section of the Mishkan. Apparently, God did not want any of the angels there to be critical of the high priest as he performed his duties. Another tradition states that bells were used so that the Israelites would remember to pray for the priest as he served on their behalf. The koshen, or the breastplate, which is pictured down here, of the high priest is described in this portion of Torah. This sacred vestment was worn over the ephod, or the linen apron, and contained two special gemstones called the Urim Vit Tumim, or lights and perfections. See Exodus 28:30, Leviticus 8:8, Numbers 28:21, Deuteronomy 33:38 for reference. These stones were used to discern the will of God in some cases. See 1 Samuel 14:41, 28:6, Ezra 2:63, and Nehemiah 7:65. Some have claimed that the Shekinah would cause the Urim or the Tumim to light up and shine upon the Avni Koshen, or the 12 gemstones in the Koshen that represented the 12 tribes of Israel. Since each stone was inscribed with the name of the tribe of Israel, the letters illuminated on the Koshen would reveal an answer to the question posted by the high priest. And there's also another way that they would do this. They would put both in a bag. They would mix it up. The high priest would reach in and pull out one. And if it was white, the answer to the question would be no. And if it was black, the answer would be yes. The Avni Koshen. The Avni Koshen was arranged with 4 rows of 3 stones. Again, each stone was inscribed with 6 letters representing the name of a tribe of Israel for a total of 72 letters. Row 1 would be Reuben, ruby, Simeon, topaz, and Levi, garfinkel. Row 2, Judah, carbuncle, Issachar, sapphire, and Zebulun, pearl. Row 3, Dan, jacinth, Naphtali, agate, and Gad, crystal. Asher, row 4, would be emerald, Joseph, onyx, and Benjamin would be yashen, or an unknown stone. According to the Gemara, or the Sota, the shamir was a miraculous worm as small as a grain of barley, that was used to engrave the names of the tribes on the stones. And I thought that was interesting. A miraculous worm. Interesting. Believers in the Mashiach Yeshua, or Jesus, are likewise appointed to be a kingdom of priests. See 1 Peter 2:9. And remember, we're on Hebrews for Christians, so he's mixing up the two gospels here. The kingdom of priests is still directly for Israel. Those who are part of Christ's body are going to be rulers and reigners in the celestials and have a direct access to the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Holy Spirit, to discern the will of God. We do this through faith, asking the Lord for wisdom and trusting in his light and perfection to guide us in all truth. See John 16:3 for reference. The altar Haketoret was the second altar of the Mishkan. The first was the large Mishbach Ha'olah, or the altar for the animal sacrifices in the outer court. It was constructed of wood overlaid with pure beaten gold and placed in the Kadesh section of the structure, next to the menorah and the shluchan, perhaps right next to the parochet, or the curtain that separated the holy place from the Holy of Holies. Twice a day, in the morning and again in the afternoon, the priest would burn the ketoret, or the incense, in the altar as a intercessory reminder to the Lord on the behalf of Israel. A midrash states that even though there was only a thin layer of gold covering the altar of incense, the wood was never scorched by the fire. In connection with the avodah, or the service in the Mishkan, the question may arise as to why Aaron's descendants were chosen to serve and not Moses. In other words, why wasn't Moses chosen to be the Kohen Gadol for Israel? Rashi, which is a famous Jewish rabbi and philosopher, I believe, states that the Lord at first wanted Moses to be the Kohen Gadol, but because he refused to lead Israel at the incident of the burning bush, God chose his brother and his descendants to be the Kohamim, whereas Moses and his descendants would be Levite assistants instead. Prophetically, even though Moses himself was a type or picture of the Mashiach Yeshua, he was unable to enter into the land of ultimate promise, and the entire priesthood system based on the Mishkan and later the temple was designated to be superseded by a greater priesthood after the order of Melchizedek. See Hebrews 7 for reference. And this is, again, showing the temple and what it would look like. This would be the outer court. The altar of sacrifice and the bronze laver would sit right here. A linen wall of curtains would be around the outside. Then you had the holy place in the temple. The branch menorah would be over here. The table of the showbread right over here. The altar of incense would be right here. This is the curtain. And this is the Holy of Holies with the Ark of the Covenant. And it would be sided by two cherubim. The sages liken the symbolism of the Mishkan with the creation itself. Just as the Lord created mankind as the most important aspect of his creation, so he gave the instructions for lighting the menorah and burning the ketoret, or incense, after the Mishkan was created. Mankind was ultimately created to worship the Lord God of Israel. The Mashiach Yeshua, or Jesus, is the great high priest and king from the royal tribe of Judah. His priesthood is after the order of Melchizedek, based on the unchanging promise of God himself. See Psalms 110:4 for reference, and excels the priesthood of Levi as much as the substance excels its shadow. See Hebrews 10:1 and 13:10 for reference. Nonetheless, the foreshadowing of the Mishkan was not given to Israel in vain, and like the menorah and the ketoret, our lives should shine the light of truth to others, Matthew 5:16, and evoke the Savior of heaven wherever we 13-16. Notice that the first verse of the portion includes the phrase Vayetku Elekha Shema Zait, meaning you shall take for yourselves olive oil. The implication of the commandment is not so much to give to the Lord as much as it is to take from one's life that which belongs to the Lord already. This act of returning to God is invaluable. Establishing the correct order of life yields blessings now and in the world to come. On the Shabbat before Purim, the weekly Parashot is supplemented with the Zakor, or the remembrance reading of Deuteronomy 25:17 through 19, in which we are commanded to remember the evil of Amalek and to eradicate it from the face of the earth. This is done because of some of the Jewish sages teaching that Haman was a descendant of Amalek. And it actually does say that in the Torah, that Haman was a descendant of Amalek, or the Amalekites. And I forget when Purim is this year. Let's see. It may have already passed. Yeah, it was March 2nd. Or no, that's for 2026. I want 2025. It was March 13th and 14th of this year, so it's already passed. And Purim is the telling of the story of Esther. So you would read this portion and then jump right into the book of Esther. But since we've been held up a couple of shows, we skipped it. So I'll have to find a time where we can take a day to read the book of Esther. The Haftorah portion of the Parashot Titzvah gives the details of the construction of the altar and the mysterious heavenly temple of the Messiah and the dedication of that temple in the Messianic age. There is some debate among Orthodox Jews if this temple is built by God himself and the descendants and descends to earth, or if it is built by the Messiah during the Messianic era. I don't really have a opinion on that one way or another. I don't know exactly how the temple is going to come about, but it's going to come. The Brit Hakadosh, or the Brit Hadasha reading concerning the spiritual temple and our relationship to the temple through Yeshua as our Kohen Gadol after the order of Melchizedek. A key phrase here is, we have an altar from which those who serve the tent have no right to eat, Hebrews 13:10, which indicates that the altar of Messiah is not available to those who attempt to find merit through the Levitical system, i.e. salvation by works. The ritualistic expression of the Sinai covenant given in the law of Moses. Suffering outside the camp refers to the sin offering that were required for atonement to be made. The sacrifices had to be offered by the anointed high priest, who would sprinkle the blood of the sacrifice 7 times inside the tabernacle on the gold altar, opposite the curtain before the Holy of Holies. The halev, or fat, was burned on the altar, but unlike other offerings, the rest of the animal, its hind flesh and its body parts, would be taken outside the camp to be burned with fire. Followers of Yeshua, or Jesus, are likewise told to go outside the camp to bear the reproaches of those who still hold to the terms of the older covenant, Hebrews 13:12. And that concludes the pregame portion of our Torah covering today. So we'll jump right into the actual reading. 1 second. There we go. And we're reading all the way from 27:20 to 30:10. As for you, you shall instruct the sons of Israel that they shall take to you clear olive oil, pounded for the luminary to kindle the lamp regularly. In the tent of appointment outside of the curtain, which shall be over the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall arrange it from evening until morning before Yahweh. It shall be an Aeonian statute throughout the generations for the sons of Israel. You bring near to you Aaron, your brother, and his sons with him from the midst of the sons of Israel to serve as priests for me. Aaron, Nadab, and Abinu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, sons of Aaron, make holy garments for Aaron, your brother, for glory and for beauty. And you shall speak to all the wise of heart whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they make the garments of Aaron to hallow himself to serve as priests for me. These are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, an ephod, a robe, a linen tunic, a turban, and a sash. They will make holy garments for Aaron your brother and for his sons to serve as priests for me. They shall take the gold, the blue, the purple, the double dipped crimson, and the cambric. They will make the ephod of gold, blue, purple, double dipped crimson, and corded cambric, the handiwork of a designer. 2 joining shoulder pieces shall be for it, on both its ends there where it is made to join. And the designed band of his ephod, which shall be on it, shall be like its handiwork of one piece with it, a gold, blue, purple, double dip crimson, and corded cambric. Then you will take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone and 6 on the left, on the second stone, according to the genealogical records. With the handiwork of lapidary, as the engravings of the seal, you shall engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. You shall make them set round about with mountings of gold filigree. Then you will set the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel, and Aaron will bear their names before Yahweh on his 2 shoulder pieces for remembrance. You will make the mountings of gold filigree, and 2 brands of pure gold. You shall make them to be boundaries, a handiwork of rope, and you will put the braided ropes on the mountings. You will make the breastplate of judgment, the handiwork of a designer, like the handiwork of the ephod shall you make it. Of gold, blue, purple, double dip crimson, and corded cambric shall you make it. Squared shall it come to be when doubled, a span its length and the span its width. You will fill it with the filling of stone, 4 rows of stones, a row of carnelian, peridot, and emerald, 1 row, and the second row of carbuncle, sapphire, and diamond, the 3rd row, jacinth, agate, and amethyst, and the 4th row, topaz, onyx, and jasper. Mounted in gold filigree shall they be in their fillings. The stones they shall come to be 12, with their names according to the names of the sons of Israel, as the engravings of a seal. Each one with its name shall they come to be for the 12 tribes. You will make on the breastplate boundaries of braid, a handiwork of rope of pure gold. They will make 2 rings of gold on the breastplate and put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate. You will put the 2 ropes of gold on the 2 rings at the ends of the breastplate, and the 2 ends of the 2 ropes you shall put on the 2 mountings, and so you will put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod to its forefront view. You will make 2 rings of gold and place them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on its hem, which shall be across the ephod instead. You will make 2 rings of gold and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod below its forefront view, to correspond with its joining above to the design band of the ephod. When they shall lace the breastplate by its rings to the rings of the ephod with blue twine to come to be over the design band of the ephod. On his heart before Yahweh continually. You will make the robe of the ephod wholly of blue, and there will come to be a slit for his head in the midst. A hem shall be around its slit, a handiwork of the weaver, as the slit of the coat of mail shall it be to it, so that it not be torn. Then on its skirts you will make pomegranates of blue, purple, double dip crimson, and the corded cambric on its skirts round about, and bells of gold on their midst round about. A bell of gold and a pomegranate, a bell of gold and a pomegranate on the skirt of the robe around it. Thus it will come to be on Aaron for ministering, and its sound will be heard when he enters into the holy place before Yahweh, and when he goes forth, so that he should not die. You will make a blossom of pure gold and engrave it like engravings of seal, holy to Yahweh. You will place it on blue twine, and it will come to be on the turban. On the forefront of the face of the turban shall it come to be. It will come to be on the forehead of Aaron. Thus Aaron will bear the depravity of the holy things which the sons of Israel shall sanctify for all of their holy gifts, and it will come to be on his forehead continually for their acceptance before Yahweh. You will line the tunic with cambric, and you will make a turban of cambric, and a sash shall you make, a handiwork of embroidery. Also, you shall make tunics for the sons of Aaron. Then you will make sashes for them, and you shall make clasps for them, for glory and for beauty. You will put them on Aaron, your brother, and his sons with them, and you will anoint them. You will consecrate them and hallow them, and they will serve as priests for me. Also, make for them linen breeches to cover their naked flesh. From the waist and unto the thighs shall they come to be. And they will come to be on Aaron and his sons when they enter into the tent of appointment, or when they come close to the altar to minister in the holy place, so that they may not bear depravity and should die. It is an Aeonian statute for him, for his seed after him. This is the thing that you shall do to them, to hallow them, to serve as priests for me. Take 1 bull calf of a herd and 2 flawless rams, unleavened bread and unleavened perforated cakes mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil. Of wheat flour shall you make them. You will put them on the tray and bring them near in the tray with the young bull and the 2 rams. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons near to the opening of the tent of appointment, and you will wash them in water. You will take the garments and put on Aaron the tunic and the robe of the vestment and the ephod and the breastplate, and you will invest him with the designed band of the ephod. You will place the turban on his head and put the holy insignia on the turban. Also, you will take the anointing oil and pour it on his head and anoint him, and you shall bring his sons near and put tunics on them. Then you will gird them with sashes, Aaron and his sons, and bind up caps on them, so that the priesthood comes to be theirs for the Aeonian statute when you have consecrated Aaron and his sons. You will bring the young bull near before the tent of appointment, and Aaron and his sons will support their heads on the head of the young bull, or hands on the head of the young bull. You will slay the young bull before Yahweh in the opening of the tent of appointment. Take some of the blood from the young bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and you shall pour out all the rest of the blood at the fountain, or the foundation of the altar. Then you will take all the fat covering the inwards and the redundants above the liver and the 2 kidneys and the fat which is on them, and you will cause them to fume on the altar. Yet the flesh of the young bull and its hide and its dun shall you burn with fire outside the camp, a sin offering it is. You shall take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons will support their hands on the head of the ram. You will slay the ram, take its blood, and sprinkle it on the altar round about. You shall piece the ram into pieces, and you will wash its inwards and its shanks, and put them on its pieces and on its head. Then you will cause all of the ram to fume on the altar, and a scent offering it is to Yahweh. It is a fragrant odor, a fire offering to Yahweh. Then you will take the 2nd ram, and Aaron and his sons will support their hands on the head of the ram, and you will slay the ram, take some of its blood, and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the lobes of the right ears of his sons, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. And you will sprinkle the blood on the altar round about. Then you will take some of the blood which is on the altar and some of the anointing oil, and splatter it on Aaron and on his garments and on his sons and on the garments of his sons with him, so that he will be holy, he and his garments, and his sons and the garments of his sons with him. Now, I don't know what the significance is of the lobes, the fingers, and the toes, but I do know that the right signifies good standing, because remember, Benjamin was called Ben Ami, or son of my right hand, and a type of that. You will take from the ram the fat tail, and the fat covering the inwards, and the residence above the liver, and the 2 kidneys and the fat which is on them, and the right leg, for it is a ram of consecrations, and 1 loaf of bread, and 1 perforated cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer from the tray of unleavened bread, which is before Yahweh. You will place the whole on the palms of Aaron and on the palms of his sons, and wave them for a wave offering before Yahweh. Then you will take them from their hands and cause them to fume on the altar on top of the ascent offering for a fragrant odor before Yahweh. It is a fire offering to Yahweh. You will take the chest of the ram of consecrations, which is for Aaron, and wave it as a wave offering before Yahweh, and it will come to be your assigned share. Then you will hallow the chest of the wave offering and the leg of the heave offering, and what is waved and what is heaved from the ram of consecration, which is for Aaron and which is for his sons. It will come to be for Aaron and for his sons as a Aeonian statute from the sons of Israel, for it is a heave offering, and it shall become a heave offering from the sons of Israel, a heave offering to Yahweh. The holy garments, which are Aaron's, shall become his sons after him, to be anointed in them and to consecrate them in them. 7 days, one of his sons, whoever is priest in his stead, he who comes into the tent of appointment to minister in its holy place, shall put them on. The ram of consecration shall you take, and you will cook its flesh in a holy place. And Aaron and his sons will eat the flesh of the ram and the bread which is in the tray at the opening of the tent appointment. They will eat them, by which a proprietary shelter was made to consecrate them, to hallow them. Yet an alien shall not eat them, for they are holy. And if something be left of the flesh of consecrations or of the bread until the morning, then you will burn that leftover with fire. It shall not be eaten, for it is holy. You will do thus for Aaron and for his sons according to all that I have instructed you. 7 days shall you consecrate them. A young bull as a sin offering shall you offer day by day for propitiatory shelters. You will make a sin offering on the altar when you make your propitiatory shelter on it, and you will anoint it and hallow it. 7 days shall you make a propitiatory shelter on the altar, and you will hallow it. Thus the altar becomes a holy of holies. All that touches the altar shall be holy. This is what you shall offer on the altar: 2 he lambs, a year old, day by day regularly. The one he lamb shall you offer in the morning, and the second he lamb shall you offer between the evening hours. Also, a tenth of the ephod of flour mingled with a quarter of a hin of pounded oil, and a libation of a quarter of a hin of wine for the one lamb. And the second lamb you shall offer between the evening hours as the morning approach present, and as its libation shall you offer it, for a fragrant odor, a fire offering to Yahweh, a regular ascent offering throughout your generations, as the opening of the tent of appointment before Yahweh, where I shall keep appointment with you to speak to you there. And I will keep appointment there with the sons of Israel, and it will be hallowed by my glory. Thus I will hallow the tent of appointment and the altar, and Aaron and his sons shall I hallow to serve as priests for me. I will tabernacle in the midst of the sons of Israel, and will become their Elohim. They will realize that I am Yahweh, their Elohim, who brought them forth from the land of Egypt, that I may tabernacle in their midst. I am Yahweh, their Elohim. You will make an altar for fuming essence, and of acacia board shall you make it. A cubit shall be its length, and a cubit its width. Square it shall be, and 2 cubits its rise. Its horns are of one piece with it. You will overlay it with pure gold, its top surface and around its side walls and its horns. And you will make for it a flange of gold round about. 2 rings of gold shall you make before it, beneath its flange. On its 2 angle walls shall you make them on its 2 sides, and they shall be for housings for the poles to carry it with them. You will make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, and you will put it before the curtain, which shall be by the coffer of the testimony, before the propitiatory shelter, which shall be on the testimony, where I shall keep appointment with you. Aaron will cause incense of spice to fume on it, morning by morning. When making good the lamps shall he cause it to fume. And when Aaron sets up the lamps between the evening hours, he shall cause it to fume as incense regularly before Yahweh throughout your generations. You shall not set up on it an alien incense or a scent offering or an approach present and a libation. Make a propitiatory shelter on its horns once in the year, which is with the blood of the sin offering of the propitiatory shelter. Once in the year shall he make a propitiatory shelter on it. Throughout your generations, it shall be a holy of holies to Yahweh. And that concludes the first part of the Torah portion. Now we are going to Ezekiel 43, 10 through 27. Let's get this all pulled up. Oh, look who's in the chat. Shabbat Shalom, Halsey, dear friend. Thank you so much for coming. You made it to the Haftorah portion. We just got finished reading about the rest of how the tabernacle and the temple was supposed to be built and maintained. So now we're going to Ezekiel 23, 10 through, lost my place, 10 through 27. They exposed their nakedness. They took away their sons and their daughters and killed her with the sword, so that she became a byword among women after judgment had been executed upon her. Her sister Haabola saw this, yet she became corrupted in her doting more than her sister, and her prostitutions were worse than the prostitutions of her sister. She doted on the sons of Assyria, viceroys and prefects, whose nearby, clothed in the panoply horsemen, riding horses, choice men coveted of all of them. And I saw that she was defiled. Both of them went the same way, yet she continued her prostitutions further. When she saw mortals delineated on the sidewalk, images of Chaldeans delineated with ochre, girdled with belts about their waist, extended gorgeous turbans on their head, all of them in appearance like high officers, a likeliness of the sons of Babylon, whose land of birth is Chaldea. Then she doted on them by the sight of her eyes, and she sent messengers to them to Chaldea. So the sons of Babylon came to her and she was defiled by them until her soul was disaffected from them. She exposed her prostitutions and exposed her nakedness, and my soul was disaffected from her, just as my soul had been disaffected from her sister. Yet she increased her prostitutions, remembering the days of her youth when she committed prostitution in the land of Egypt. And just so you know, this is Israel personified. This isn't talking about an actual person. This is talking about Israel. She doted on concubinage with them, whose flesh was like the flesh of donkeys, and the effusions of horses was like their effusion. So you revised the lewdness of your youth when those of Egypt handled your nipples, squashing the breasts of your youth. Therefore, Aholiba, thus say my Lord Yahweh, behold, I will rouse your lovers against you, from whom your soul is disaffected, and I will bring them against you from round about, the sons of Babylon and all the Chaldeans, Padok and Soa and Koa, and all the sons of Assyria with them, choice young men, coveted, viceroys and prefects, all of them, high officers and heralded men, riding horses, all of them. They will come again against you from the north with chariot and whirling wheel, and with an assemblage force of peoples. Large shields and buckler and helmet shall they place against you round about. I will set judgment before them, and they will judge you by their own customs. I will turn my zeal against you, and they will deal with you in fury. They shall take away your nose and your ears, and all the last of you shall fall by the sword. They themselves shall take away your sons and your daughters, and the last of you shall be devoured by fire. They will strip you of your garments and take away your beautiful jewels. I will eradicate your lewdness from you, and your prostitution began in the land of Egypt. You shall not lift your eyes to them, and you shall not remember Egypt any longer. For thus saith my Lord Yahweh, behold, I am giving you into the hands of those whom you hate, into the hands of those from whom your soul is disaffected. They will deal with you in hatred and take away all the result of your labor. They will leave you naked and denulled, and the nakedness of your prostitutions will be exposed. Your lewdness and your prostitutions will bring these things on you, because you're prostituted after the nations, but which you are defiled with their idol clods. And I think that's it. We were supposed to read to just 30. Let me double check. Ezekiel. I made a whoopsie. It was supposed to be 43, not 23. I was just thinking, how does this relate to what we just read? My bad. I did a sin. So Ezekiel 43. There we go. You can do it, Taylor. 43, 10 through 27. You, son of humiliation, tell the house of Israel of the house, so that they may be mortified over their depravities when they measure its outline. When they are mortified over all that they have done, make known to them the form of the house and its established arrangements, its exits and its entrances, all its forms and all of its statutes, all its forms and all its laws, and write it down before the eyes, that they may observe all its forms and all of its statutes and do them. This is the law of the house. On the summit of the mountain, all its territory all around is the Holy of Holies. Behold, this is the law of the house. Now these are the messengers of the altar and cubits, where a cubit as a cubit and a headbreadth. The collecting trench is 1 cubit deep and the cubit wide, with its boundary rim of 1 span around its lip. And this is the elevation of the altar from the collecting trench of the earth into the lower edge, its 2 cubits, and its width 1 cubit. And from the small ledge into the great length, its 4 cubits, and the width of 1 cubit. The altar hearth of El is 4 cubits high. From the altar hearth of El upward are 4 horns. And again, this is describing what the altar is supposed to look like in the actual physical temple that's being built during Ezekiel's time. The altar hearth of El is 12 cubits long and 12 cubits wide, a square with its 4 sides. The length is 14 cubits long by 14 cubits wide on its 4 sides. And the boundary rim about it is half a cubit, and its collecting trench roundabout is a cubit. Its steps face east. Then he said to me, sons of humanity, thus says my Lord, Yahweh, these are the statutes of the altar in the day it is made to offer up the scent approach on it and to sprinkle blood on it. You will give to the priests, the Levites, they who are of the seed of Zadok, who came near to me, averring is my Lord Yahweh, to minister to me, a bull calf of the herd for a sin offering. You will take of its blood and put it on its 4 horns and on the 4 corners of the ledge and on the boundary rim round about. Thus you will make a sin offering for it and a propitiatory shelter for it. Then you will take the young bull of the sin offering, and one must burn it in a appointed place of the house outside the sanctuary. On the 2nd day you shall bring near a flawless hairy goat for a sin offering, and they will purify the altar from sin just as they purified it from sin with the young bull. Then you will finish with purifying it from sin. You shall bring near a flawless bull calf of the herd and a flawless ram of the flock. You will bring them near before Yahweh, and the priests will fling salt on them and offer them up for the scent approach to Yahweh. 7 days shall you daily prepare a hairy goat as a sin offering. They also shall prepare a young bull calf of the herd and a ram of the flock, flawless ones. 7 days shall they make the propitiatory shelter for the altar and cleanse it. Thus they will consecrate it. When they concluded the days, it will come on the 8th day and beyond that the priest shall offer your scent approach presents and your peace offerings on the altar, and I will accept you, averring is the Lord Yahweh. Now this is more in line with what we just read. I can't believe I did that. I like what you're wearing in your hair. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a little handkerchief headband and a actual bejeweled headband, just to give it a little bit more of a decoration. I felt like dressing up today. And it's appropriate for women to keep their head covered when they're praying and prophesying. And even though I'm not necessarily praying or prophesying, I was put on my heart to wear something. And then the last part, we are going to Hebrews 13:10 through 17. 1 second. We're going to concordant. Hebrews. Hopefully I don't screw this one up. I'm reading 10 through 17. We have an altar from which they have no right to be eating who offer divine service in the tabernacle. For the animals whose blood is carried into the holy place by the chief priest concerning sin of these, the bodies are burned up outside the camp. Wherefore Jesus also, that he should be hallowing the people through his own blood, suffered outside the gate. Now then, we may be coming out to him outside the camp carrying his reproach. For here we are not having a permanent city, but we are seeking for one which is impending. Through him, then, we may be offering up the sacrifice of praise to God continually, that is, the fruit of lips avowing his name. Now, be well doing and contributing, be not forgetful, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. Be persuaded by your leaders and be deferring to them, for they are vigilant for the sake of your souls, as having to render an account, that they may be doing this with joy and not be groaning, for this is disadvantageous for you. And that concludes the Torah portion of the week. It was, again, a bit of a long, tedious one, but we got to see how the tabernacle was made, how the vestments were constructed. So, yeah, it's really nice to see the lesser touched aspects of the Torah. And with that being said, hope everyone has a very blessed Shabbos. Thank you so much, Halsey, for your support on this. And everyone watches this. Oh, technical difficulties today. My goodness. So yeah, love, grace, and peace, everyone. I hope to see you all on Wednesday for the next installment of the Book of Mark series. Shabbat Shalom.